Hello, I'm Matthew Barney, director of the Milli Vanilli 4D Sensual Experience, now available at Universal Studios. What you are about to see is the training video for Blockbuster employees that I provided the audio commentary from a Greyhound bus traveling from Michigan when I was reclaiming my daughter, Bjork Jr. And we did eventually run into some trouble, as you know. That was a little bit further down the line in the gambling, how to win at slots video. But this is all before that. This is back when I still had little Bjork and her Swedish pig nose looking up at me, oinking. And you know, she's not a chimera or anything, she's just a very ugly child. So as you may know about this video, I actually purchased a majority stockholdership of Blockbuster Video at a time that I thought it would be appropriate to do so. You see, my Matty senses were tingling, and I can give you tingles too. But the most important thing to note is that the deal with Blockbuster went south eventually, and I was ejected from the platform. And I just want to share this video with you all again, because now that the YouTube gods have been quelled, have had their anger quelled, we can all sit down and watch things again as they rest in their sleep forever spell for the next 1,000 years. Alright, that's it. Thank you very much. Let's watch and enjoy. Hello, I'm Matthew Barney, and I did not post a video yesterday due to some unexpected circumstances in my life. Prior to these unexpected circumstances, I managed to buy all of the Blockbuster Video huts in America. So I am now what you might call the national manager of Blockbuster Video. Now, I don't really know much about Blockbuster Video, other than that it's a place where people can go to rent films. And it's a good thing that I bought these properties, because I had a hunch what was about to happen. My Barney senses tingled, and they said, you'd best get something done, Matthew. And I did. What I did was I went online, and what a lucky day. It turns out Blockbuster has fallen on a bit of hard times as well. So they were more than happy to accept my generous offer of $800 million for all of their properties nationwide. And that does not include the non-continental United States. So I am not the owner of the Blockbusters in Alaska, Hawaii, or Puerto Rico. However, I do own all of them in the continental 48 states of America, as well as a few in Canada and one in Mexico. But what happened was the unforeseen circumstances that I had a Barney tingling sensation of. Well, as you know, I've kidnapped Bjork and I's daughter, and she's still here. She's sitting right next to me. I'm on a bus headed towards upstate New York from Michigan right now, and I've put her on watch duty. She's keeping an eye open for any black helicopters or patrol cars that have Swedish language on the side, or Icelandic languages. And what happened was yesterday, Bjork delivered to me an ultimatum. She said, "Listen, Matthew," and I could barely understand her due to her thick Greenlandish accent. And it was that if I do not return little Bjork Jr., she would drain my offshore Swedish bank accounts, which are currently located in Amsterdam, the capital of Sweden. And I told her there's no way you can do that. They're behind 7 proxies. And besides, it's not even in the same country as you. You stupid Icelandic witch. And about 20 minutes after I purchased the Blockbuster properties, I saw that all my bank accounts, I used my online banking app on my BlueBerry telephone, and they had all been drained to zero. And that's okay. Because I always keep 2 briefcases of cash on me. They're filled with $1,000 bills. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Matt, there are no $1,000 bills. And you're actually quite wrong about that. There are bills as low as $500. Now, I've never used low denominations like a $500 bill, but these $1,000 bills are fairly low denomination for me. And I'm sure, lower people like you, rarely ever see them because, you spend your $10,000 bills all at once on watching my movies. But anyway, I decided it might be best to get into the video store business, which is why I'm watching this video tape on my portable VCR and television screen that is sitting on my lap as I sit in the uncomfortable chair on the Carl R. Biber bus. And I'm trying to concentrate, but I can't stop thinking about all those grubby little Swedish hands touching my beautiful, beautiful money. So I'm reviewing this considering I'm going to be the national manager of Blockbuster, and it's a good thing that I have about $500 million on me. That's really, really important. And if I didn't, I would no, 500. What? Okay, Bjork Jr. says that there's no way there's more than $500,000 cash in these 2 briefcases. That's a really small amount of money. And I get frightened if I'm unable to use my money. And because all my credit cards have been locked, and whenever I try to use them, a picture of a laughing skull appears on the ATM machine, and in Swedish it says, no, 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 ha ha ha, no, 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 Matthew, no, no. Right, so that's why I'm trying to figure out how to make customers feel good and less stressful with positive interactions here at Blockbuster, which I'm currently headed to the main store, which is located in West Seneca, New York State. And it will be from there that I set up a base of operations. Hopefully I can, get back on my feet. And I hear that all the snow is finally melted there. I really don't understand why they didn't just have their help go out and shovel it. But from what I understand, 8 people actually went to the realm of Yogg-Sagoth because they were trying so hard to shovel. And I admire that some people are do-it-yourselfers, and that's okay. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm doing it myself by watching this. Okay, now it says stop tape and answer workbook questions. Well, I guess that doesn't really apply to me. The woman who I called when I had purchased the Blockbuster properties, she forwarded this video to me through a series of shoots, and it appeared in my extended stay Red Roof Inn suite through, you know how when you go to the bank and you withdraw about $20 million, there's little chutes that you can, send your check up. Well, I had one of those installed all around the country. So I got this tape, and the woman just kept laughing at me on the phone. And I said, "What's so funny?" And she said, "I just can't believe you want to own Blockbuster." And I said, "I can't believe it either. Believe me, there's no one in the world more against home video than I am. But even I know that in times of despericity that one must take despericial measures. And she just laughed and laughed and laughed, and she said, well, the stores are all empty, so they're yours to do with what you like. And I said, oh, that's fantastic. I was going to fire every staff member anyway and hire my own. My idea would be to have fired, about 98% of the Blockbuster staff, but it turns out that 100% of the staff is already gone. So this is really good news for me. And, for only a half a billion, I am the owner of 3,282 Blockbuster stores nationwide, including some areas of rural Canada and Mexico City, but not Puerto Rico or Hawaii or Alaska. Okay, so it says act promptly. Now, I'm not sure, but I want to say that this woman was on the television show The X-Files, though I don't really watch TV, so I don't know. She's wearing a leather jacket, so I'm assuming she's the strong female lead, and that's okay. I'm just keeping an eye out the window of the bus. The sun went down about 25 minutes ago, and I've been getting increasingly leery because I keep hearing helicopters every now and then, and I'm not sure if it's just me. And as I watch the lights of the urban sprawl pass me by and I count the headlights on the highway, I can only wonder how many of them contain Icelandic agents waiting for me. But they don't know where I'm going because, how could they? They're Icelandic. They have, what's in Iceland anyway? Some fancy little foxes and a penis museum, which I've been to, and believe me, it's delightful. But that was right after I met Bjork and when we were still on speaking terms and before little Bjork here came along. I didn't hear back from Kurt Russell yet. I'm really hoping he'll call me back. I got a text from him. I'm just gonna take the time to read it here. It says, "Hey Matt, Kurt here. Sorry I missed your call. I was out having a wacky adventure. I got a really sweet eye patch." And I texted back, "Kurt, hope you're okay." And he wrote back a question mark, just a question mark. And I wrote, "Well, the eye patch, did you lose one of your beautiful blue eyes?" And he wrote back, "Oh, no, this is an X-ray eye patch, so I can cheat at cards." I gave him the latitude and longitude of where to meet me, and he told me that he'd be there within the next 24 hours, which is good because he said he was going to bring along a tape of something we could commentate on. So he seems to think it'll be really fun. So I'm glad to have heard back from Kurt. John Leguizamo I have not heard back from since The Little Engine That Could, and that's okay. I guess he didn't realize who he was talking to. How could you? Matthew Barney, if Matt Barney called me and I'm Matthew Barney already, I would just be like, oh my gosh, I'm just the biggest fan. To which the other Matthew Barney on the other end of the phone would say, I know, because I'm you. And then it turns out that I'm holding two phones and I'm just talking into one and listening on the other. Every now and then the bus stops and the Vietnamese fellow driving it announces the name of the town we're in, and these people who I don't recognize get on the bus or get off the bus, and they appear to be commuting to places of work. Now, as far as I can tell, I'm still in Michigan, though I may have crossed over the lake into Ohio. I'm not really sure. I'm running out of tranquilizers. That's okay. Now, it keeps saying stop the tape and consult the workbook. I only got the tape. The woman said that this tape is from a few years ago, but it should still prove... Oh, my goodness, that was a motorcycle. Okay. I don't think the man driving it was Swedish or Icelandic. I'm just gonna check my online banking again here. Oh, no, I'm still locked out. The video. Alright, so stop the tape and answer workbook questions. This must have been for the lower commanding officers of Blockbuster. Alright, ask for... I wonder what feedback is. Alright, so I'm gonna want to get a whole bunch of blue and yellow polo shirts that say Blockbuster Video. Okay, I can do that. That's no problem. I can probably take out a loan or something. But I am glad that I got this tape, because if I hadn't, I'd probably be up Poop Creek without a paddle. Alright, now ask for feedback. Didn't we just see this? Getting confused.
How's it going, Mr. Lopez? Been enjoying your free rentals?
Oh, I see.
Yes, I have. It's a great program.
What program is that? How do you get free rentals?
That's right. The woman on the phone mentioned this to me. There's a sort of platinum
I'll tell you all about it.
membership that you can offer people, though she said it wouldn't be any good because my money's no good here. And I know that. That's what a lot of people say to me when I walk into a fancy restaurant like Cran's. They say, "Oh no, sir, Matthew Barney, your money's no good here." But you know, I'll toss a few $1,000 bills on the ground and watch them fight over it like dogs. And it entertains me and it delights me. Okay, so this woman is telling me that I need to run a tight business. I need to be firm but fair, answer a lot of questions, and make the customers feel comfortable. I really don't like that term, customers. I'm gonna replace that word in my mental vocabulary with units. Units. Okay, so be a unit champion.
I'm looking for a film called Last Holiday.
This woman is looking for the film Last Holiday. Okay, this unit wants Last Holiday. Okay, that looks just like my computer, my laptop that is sitting right here with the tape deck plugged into it, which is good because this thing weighs about 90 pounds and it's very warm, and I believe it may be having an adverse effect on my reproductive system. But that's okay. I really don't think that after little Bjork Jr. came along, I want to have any more children. Okay, so this is interesting. I didn't even know that some of these movies ever came out on home video. Apparently, home video is very popular. The woman on the phone said something about something called Netflix, but I've never heard of that. And when I went to my search engine and I Yahoo'd it, it did not yield any results. Netflix. And it said, "Did you mean something else?" And it had an X in it, and I assumed that it was a pornographic website, so I just decided to close the browser and get on the bus, because I know I saw men with Swedish flags draped around their necks running around like superheroes screaming, "For Iceland! For Iceland!" Now this gentleman here in the green shirt is asking the gentleman in the Blockbuster shirt where another movie is. That will be something I will hire people to do, because I would never approach a filthy commoner wearing a V-neck t-shirt. Okay, so be a unit champion. Example 2B. Alright. New releases. You know, I vaguely remember walking by an installment that looked like this. I believe they had miniature spotlights inside them that swung around. Though I don't really remember. The next time I was at this place, they had moved. That's okay. You know, a lot of people have responded to me on Blitter asking me, why did you kidnap Bjork Jr., Matthew? And I said, well, it's only because I respect Bjork Sr. so much as an artist, and I wanted to have something to remind me of her at all times, even though we'd had a falling out, even though we are no longer a relationship. And I figured, what better thing to keep to keep of Bjork's than something that has a part of me inside of it, Bjork Jr.? So that I just hope that answers some of my fans' questions. Alright, so unit dissatisfaction. This might be a tough part for me to watch, because I've never had to deal with negative feedback. So, because the critics always come to me and they say, Matthew, you're so incredibly talented, unlike the little beavers in Hollywood who go about making movies about kids who run out into the woods with a camera and are chased by a tall man in a business suit, or a werewolf, or even a Ouija board. And, their enemy could be anything. And when you make an exhibit, you make an experience. And I think the reason I do that is because the enemies in my films are never apparent. They're always an unseen force at first that makes itself known. And then it turns out that we are our own worst enemies. I wonder if I can get a hot roll on this pose. Well, probably not. Okay, so this Scully here wants me to address unit dissatisfaction. Unit dissatisfaction. I can do that. I can do this. This should not be difficult. I don't know what that first word is. I know what paraphrasing is. I don't know that last word. I definitely don't know that word. It looks familiar. Okay, I don't know. I can't explain anything. That goes against my filmmaking code. Suggest ideas. I can do that. I can definitely suggest ideas. I mean, like, maybe instead of windows, we could have aquariums. And instead of walls, we could just have whale blubber. And instead of employees, I'm getting so many ideas. I'm gonna be so much richer than I already am. Bjork is gonna come back to me, and little Bjork will have little Bjorklings, and they'll run around in the pig pen outside, and they'll say, wee, wee, and they'll have fun all day, wallowing in their own filth, because that's what Icelandic people do. Okay, so sometimes I have personal authority, she said. Racial or ethnic insensitivity? I don't even understand what that means. We are all the same children of Makah. Why would anyone discriminate against another human being? Right now, recovering from unit dissatisfaction is important. This I have seen some of my filmmaker friends deal with. They get a bad review at the box office, or maybe they were caught doing something they oughtn't have been doing with another male actor, and they are threatened to be exposed by, a certain religious group like the Church of Scientology, and then you find out that John Travolta's world has just been turned upside down and he'll never be in one of your movies, all because these cultists have completely taken everything out of context about the cruise ship incident. Now, I can't stop the tape because I don't actually have a workbook. If I did, you would hear a pencil scratching against a notepad. But apparently there are several ways of recovering from unit dissatisfaction, which I believe is important and impertinent to any business place that serves me, because I am often dissatisfied. Like this one time, I went into a place called Starbucks, which I guess is a mainstream coffee shop, and I asked for a gourmet sofa latte with foam, and they looked at me, the unit behind the register looked at me, nodded, and then said, "Barney, your order's up." And I walked over to the counter, and it was not a sofa latte with foam. It was not gourmet. It was simply it was your average frappuccino, if you like. And I got angry, and I threw the hot, scalding liquid into the unit's face. And I don't usually raise my voice, but in this case I did. And I said, "How dare you serve a being as high as me anything less than a sofa loi mate with foam?" I said also, I don't know why, but I really, really like to have a very detailed portrait of the Mona Lisa floating in my coffee every morning. That's incredibly important to me. And if I don't have that, I get angry. And when Matthew Barney gets angry, he makes movies like The Cremaster Cycle. I'll be fine. Okay, where are we now? All I see outside are trees. Oh well.
I haven't the faintest idea why the computer is showing those films as overdue. I can tell you that I returned those 2 films.
Now, this woman is evidently dealing with something called overdue fees, or overdraft, overdue. I'm not sure. But I guess that's because a video store is kind of like a library. Now, I pay for a library. I actually own the library of New York City, and I'm allowed in there at any time of the night that I like to be. And I get to ride on the giant ladder all across the bookshelves, and I'll yell, "Wee!" And there's no librarians to stop me and slap my knuckles with a ruler and say, "Thou shalt not." Which is good, because, if I don't get my, I work hard and I play hard. And for me, playing hard is riding one of those ladders on the wheels along the bookshelves in the New York Public Library. Although at night, it's not the public library, it's the Barney Library. And I'm currently about 700 miles away from my little library. And that makes me sad, because I'm headed also in the opposite direction of Area 51, where sometimes I go to play. And I take a canoe out into the desert, and I try to row it as far as I can in the sand. And sometimes I get more than 10 feet. Now, Scully here wants me to review the homework about providing great service in busy and stressful times. This is example 1A, obviously. Okay, now this unit is talking to a consumer in a brownish red polo shirt, which he obviously got at some thrift store of some kind. And he wants something. I'm really having some trouble registering these lower beings. They're so far below my comprehension. They might as well just be ants. And that's okay. They're busy little beavers. They're beavers, and they're busy. And if you can't be a busy beaver, then you can't live to serve me. And that's really all I care about right now, is finding the Norwegians who took my money and getting it back into my offshore oil rig bank account off the coast of Denmark. Okay, well, I think we're coming towards the end here. I'm not really sure. But, this video has been very informative, and I will apply everything I've learned about training my units and handling consumers, because that way it'll be a lot easier for me to get back on my feet. Not that I've ever been completely off my feet, like, the other day I mentioned the rich widow and whatnot. And that was a bit of a different situation, because I still had several $1,000,000 in my bank account. Right now, I only have $500,000 cash. And when I paid for my bus ticket, I actually had to run to a bank and get the $1,000 bill split into even tinier denominations, because these are denominations of money so low that I've never heard of them. And it was like they said something about coins. I've never heard of coins. I've heard of gold doubloons, but these coins are just, they're made out of some simple steel material, and they have pictures of men I've never seen printed on them.
Why is it that when customer traffic slows down,
Customer
so do we.
unit traffic. She means unit traffic, of course.
Sometimes is downtime, break in the action. They seem to shift from attention to
Well, Scully has been an excellent source of information for me, and tomorrow I'll be meeting with Kurt Russell, who has promised me a really excellent film of some kind to commentate on. And I really look forward to interacting with another human being who isn't half piglet and doesn't have cloven hooves where their chubby little cherub feet should be. And frankly, Bjork Jr. frightens me. Every time I look at her, I see a glimpse into another scarier world. And it's disconcerting, and there's this uncanny valley thing going on, because instead of a nose, she has a snout. And her hands, instead of 5 chubby digits, there are just hooves. And they cloppity-clop everywhere she walks, because she walks on all fours. And she has a sailor hat on with a blue and white striped polo shirt with a perfectly folded pink pocket square in the front pocket on the right. And I'm just terrified of her because I'm pretty sure she's not human or even my biological daughter or Bjork's biological daughter. And I'm running low on Imodium MD and tranquilizers. But that's okay, because I'm pretty sure I'm within 350 miles of my destination. Maybe I can stop at one of those Burger Kings I've heard so much about. Okay, alright, Matt. You can do this. You'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, you're Matthew Barney. And all you need to do is hope, and all you need to have is hope and faith in yo. Because if you don't, then you're no longer Matthew Barney. You're just a little beaver, like whoever it is listening to this, probably chuckling, saying, "That Matthew Barney's a silly man. He's a silly man making silly sounds." No, I'm not. I am incredibly rich, and I am the most powerful human being on the planet because I make movies like the Cremaster Cycle, River Fundament, and the Drawing Restraint series.
worthwhile experience not only for you,
What is this?
but also for the others in
Oh, I see. They're doing outtakes.
your life around you.
How quaint. I make a serious point to delete all my outtakes. Or rather not delete. Delete is an interesting word. I prefer the word burn with fire. Because I don't want there to be any humor in my cinematic experiences. It's very important that people are immersed, but they are not taken away for the 5 hours that they'll be watching one of my films with 2-minute intermissions. Little Bjork's nose just twitched, or snout. I'm not sure what it is. Her eyes glow red at me. And it frightens me more and more every day.
After watching the first one,
And I'm pretty sure I've seen that same glimmer in Bjork Sr.'s eyes. Which says a lot now that I think about it. I wonder where are we? I don't want to talk to the bus driver because he only speaks Vietnamese. Matthew Barney, thank you for joining me. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. Hopefully Kurt won't bail on me. I just gotta calm down and everything will be fine. After all, I'm the owner of Blockbuster Video now. They're popular, right?
Thank you.